Hi, friends. Welcome to yet another episode of Surkhab Talks. Surkhab Talks is a platform where we encourage people to talk out their concerns, to sort out their concerns. So, friends, we tell that in life, whenever you go through your toughest time, deepest, darkest time, just try to figure out the answer yourself, come out of it, don't get stuck in it for long. And just in case you're not able to figure it out on your own, speak to some expert. They will have an answer for it. तो फ्रेंड्स, हमने ये सीखा कि जब भी आप किसी बहुत बुरे वक्त से गुजर रहे होंगे ना, वो आपकी जिंदगी में आपको बहुत अच्छी चीजें भी लाके दे सकता है। और अगर आप उसमें अटके ही रहे तो आप बहुत बुरी स्थिति में आ सकते हैं। तो जो पहली कोशिश करनी चाहिए, कुछ भी हो गया हो, उसको आप थोड़ी देर के लिए फील करिए, थोड़ी देर के लिए जिंदगी से नाराज हो जाइए, खुद से नाराज हो जाइए, कुछ लोगों से नाराज हो जाइए, लेकिन उसके बाद देखिए कि अगर ये मेरे जीवन में आ चुका है तो मैं इससे क्या सीखूं। और अगर खुद से आंसर नहीं आए, ढूंढ लीजिए। इंडिया एक ऐसी जगह है जहां पे आपको हर तरीके के सब्जेक्ट एक्सपर्ट मिलेंगे, लोग मिलेंगे जो आपकी हेल्प कर सकते हैं। सो फ्रेंड्स, हम आज के एपिसोड में लाए हैं एक व्यक्ति को जिनका नाम है मिस्टर अलग नटराजन। और सोचिए, उनका नाम अलग है और वो एकदम यूनिक है। जस्ट लाइक व्हाट वी से इन सुरखाब टॉक्स, दैट वी ऑल आर यूनिक, वी ऑल हैव आवर यूनिक जर्नीज। आप सोचिए, वो सुबह 4 बजे उठ के प्यासों को पानी पिलाते हैं। दिल्ली की चिलचिलाती धूप में वो सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सब लोगों को पानी पिलाते हैं जो जरूरतमंद सड़क पे चल रहे होते हैं, जो ये एफर्ड नहीं कर सकते कि जाके 10 रुपए 20 रुपए का पानी की बोतल खरीद सके और पी सके। ये सोचने की बात है कि अगर हम में से भी बहुत लोगों को डॉक्टर बोल देना कि आप 4 बजे उठिए और खुद के लिए पानी पी लीजिए, मुझे नहीं लगता कि बहुत सारे लोग ये कर पाएंगे। तो आप पैशन देखिए एक इंसान का, जो दूसरे की हेल्प इस तरीके से कर रहे हैं और बहुत खुश हैं ये करते हुए। अब ये तो हो गई जो वो आज कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप देखेंगे कि उनकी लाइफ में एक फेज था जब उन्हें कैंसर हो गया था। आप सोचिए, कैंसर जो है ये एक ऐसी बीमारी है जो आपको फिजिकली, मेंटली, इमोशनली, फाइनेंशियली हर तरीके से ड्रेन कर सकती है। और उस स्टेज को उन्होंने क्रॉस किया और आज वो अपनी जिंदगी को इतना मीनिंगफुल बना चुके हैं और वो इतने लोगों की हेल्प करते हैं। तो इससे ज्यादा क्या ही हम इंस्पायर हो सकते हैं। तो आज हम देखेंगे, कहने को क्या है, पानी पिला रहे हैं, लग रहा है ना क्या ही बात है, लेकिन बिना पानी के इंसान जिंदा नहीं रह सकता। और उस चीज को उन्होंने इतना बड़ा एक मूवमेंट बना दिया है कि उनका नाम ही लोग नहीं जानते हैं। अब उनका नाम लोग पहचानते हैं उन्हें मटका मैन के नाम से। इतने मटके उन्होंने लगा रखे हैं, ऑलमोस्ट 100, लाइक 98। तो हम उनसे समझेंगे कि ये सब कैसे हुआ, हम क्या क्या सीख सकते हैं। और ये उन सब लोगों के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है जिनको लग रहा है कि अरे ये प्रॉब्लम आ गई है, अब हम इससे आगे कैसे बढ़े। आप आगे भी बढ़ेंगे और आप बहुत बढ़िया भी करेंगे। सो फ्रेंड्स, लेट्स मीट मिस्टर अलग नटराजन, who is fondly called MatkaMan. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sir. Thank you so much for giving this time to us.
I'm happy you picked me as one of the people you want to interview.
So my first question is that whenever a person gets stuck in life, especially when you were going through your darkest phase of that cancer, so did you speak to yourself about what next? Because in one of the interviews I heard a very profound line by you. You said cancer taught you death is certain, marna to hai hi, so might as well do something better. You said it somewhere. But when people are so close to death, they feel death हो ही जाए, इतना और परेशान ना हो, and let's move on. So I want to understand that phase where you were not feeling so good, but you reached this stage where you are feeling so good and you're making people feel so good.
Actually, before cancer, I went through a lot in my life, and you must have heard of Vipassana.
Huh.
Yeah, I did Vipassana for. I've done it about 4 times. I've done Vipassana. Okay, and in Vipassana, one of the see, whenever you go somewhere, you extract some goodness from that, and then you practice it. For me, that's very important. I can read a book, but there are so many important, one or two very profound things in that book which you can take, but not what people do is they take it intellectually, but do not practice it.
Okay.
Anyway, in Vipassana, there's one thing they keep on telling you over and over again is impermanence. Impermanence. Every morning, every session is impermanence. It took me some time to understand impermanence, and then I understood impermanence. From there, I understood that nothing is permanent. You have an apple now. In 2 minutes, that apple is down, and you don't even. It's not permanent. For some reason, the human race has begun to get attached to this permanence. But life is not permanent. Life is impermanent.
To keep changing is what they teach.
Yeah. And that's one thing I exactly. And when I got cancer, I was not. I was shocked initially because those days cancer means death.
Correct.
Yeah.
Even now, sir.
Yeah.
Many.
But more so, it affected me. I had a young daughter then, and my wife and all that. So I began to say, how will they survive? How will they think and all that? And one thing I did when I got cancer was I went to all the people I hurt deeply in my life, and I went and apologized to them.
So did this come on your own, or you spoke to someone?
No, it came on my own. I drafted letters to each one individually because, as I said, even in that interview, that I've done lots of wrongs in life, plenty of wrongs. Okay, and some were major wrongs, and all the major wrong people whom I wronged, I wrote to them individually and said, "I'm sorry. Sorry for the incident. Sorry for lying." And some wrongs you could have hurt people deeply also, so you know after that I went through my operation, and operation was very successful.
Sir, here I would like to stop you that whenever we try to apologize to someone, it doesn't come very easy to many. It's like what will the other person think, or how they are going to treat us now. So did that thought come and you overcame it, or it didn't come at all?
No, that thought never. Yeah, so sometimes you can't forgive. And it's the same thing somebody did to me today. For me, humility is very important. One of the most important things in life is, if you wrong somebody, you should be able to say sorry, and that if you don't have that humility, you will not do that. And in all what I do, my water, my food, and all that, one of the things I learn is humility.
So, sir, if you don't say sorry, then what will happen?
I leave a man injured. It's not only hurting me, it's also hurting him. I've hurt that man already with my wrongdoing, and I've recognized that. Obviously, I've recognized it. That's why I'm going forward and apologizing to you. If I don't, his hurt will become less, and my hurt will also become less because I've apologized to you. I took the decision to be humble and go, and because apologizing is, you have to have humility. If you don't have humility, you cannot apologize. And the things that I might be switching on and off from. Yeah, see, one of the things you learn in when you help people or serve people, Um, by the way, charity, I don't use the word charity, okay, because I use the word sharing. Charity is a word, it's something which is coined by the affluent and the rich. You know, it's actually giving down. I am
Yes.
not giving down. I'm giving equally. What I have in excess, I'm sharing with you. You know, and poor people can recognize all this. You see, you just abandon poor people as though they're all thieves, which is what I had in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
my second question too.
mm.
Sir, so here when you did this sorry thing where you wrote letters and you went through Vipassana, did you speak to someone also about what you're going through, or all this came to you naturally?
No, I attended the counseling for a long time. I went for counseling for a long time, but not on these issues because I had a very tough childhood.
Huh.
And I always believe that if your childhood is messed up, your life is messed up.
So, thank you for touching on this subject of childhood, because many people who go through a tough childhood, they either absorb that energy so much and become as bad as people were them people were to them at that point. Many of them absorb, and some people live with this grief that their childhood was so bad and they are, it is going to be a sad life. So when you say you had a tough childhood, what did it teach you? What was it all about?
I don't know if it taught me anything, but I mean, I still suffer it. I suffer it more now than I suffered it time ago. And if you look at even Tihar jail, changing the subject, or
Yeah.
look at any of the prisons,
Huh.
all those murderers and all those
Correct.
rogues and all that, they've had terrible childhood.
Yes.
And that childhood walks with you through your life,
Huh.
unless somewhere along the line you have to make a correction. That takes a lot to make that correction because people have wounded him. People have done, child molestation, whatever,
Exactly
all
what
these
I
things,
said.
and
Yeah.
so childhood is very important. Uh, your upbringing is very important. And my father went through a bad marriage, um, and all that began to affect my childhood. In fact, I ran away from home when I was 15 years old, and I never went back. And because I couldn't take all the abuse, the fighting, and all that. So I'm a survivor, a real survivor. I am. Um, so so going back to childhood, if you when I see now, when I see, for example, the people who live upstairs have a young boy, and the amount of affection that boy gets, the amount you can see it in his confidence. It's a young boy, 6 or 7 years old. You could see his confidence. You follow me, and um, even the previous family which lived with the same thing. The Your childhood molds your strength, molds you. But with the affluent, it molds them in a different way. But they're still happy. These kids are the type who'll go to Harvard later on. Will have the highest education available to them. So because of that, I think a lot of my memories come to me. Why did I have to go through this in life? It's kind of in the background. It keeps coming and coming and
But
going.
you still chose to be a better person
Yeah, yeah,
despite all that.
yeah. Yes, I think deep down I was, but having said that, I also I have wronged at the same
We
period,
all do, sir. All human.
and well, it depends on degree, no. So my one thing I established my childhood was really messed up. So when I went for counseling, it was mostly to deal with all
Childhood.
my childhood issues, and one thing I suffer from is a very bad temper.
Uh-huh.
At the same time, I have a condition called bipolar.
Okay.
Okay, and bipolar is very frightening. It just comes and snaps into you, and
Okay.
then you're on a different medium. You're a different. It comes and goes. In fact, I think I'm on medication not for bipolar, for depression, and uh, so my help came from counseling, but I don't. I think in most counseling issues, they make you talk. You have somebody you can tell your dark secrets. without going to counseling, you cannot go to your wife or your daughter and speak to her about, all these dark secrets, or thing. But with a counselor, you can, and then you can go away. So sometimes you want to offload. You want to download your, whatever has happened to you, and I was a very confident guy, so I was not afraid to talk to the counselor. It was my decision to go to her, and in fact, when I came back to India, I spent almost 4 years with a counselor. Every Tuesday, I used to go to the counselor. Then finally, after 4 years, she said, I think it's enough now. I think you should get on and live your life now. Um, so
So thank you for talking about this. Not many people talk about this journey.
yeah, because that's how you start wearing a mask. People start wearing a mask, and actually most people are wearing a mask. People don't want to show their true self. You follow me? They exhibit their a false, they give you a false representation of themselves, because um, and that is society in a way. um, Nobody, but having said all that, when I've been to meetings and all that, I openly talk about depression and being bipolar and all that, and speaking about myself. When I leave that meeting, there is at least two people who walk up to me and say, "Who do you go to?" So sometimes you give confidence to people also. If you can, if you talk, uh, people will appreciate that, and they know if they come and talk to me, it's a secret. You can't go to anybody and say, do you know,
Correct.
because I think in India it's still a kind of a
Taboo.
taboo. So no, nobody dares, nobody dares call you up and say, "Alag, which counselor did you go to?" and all that. um, but in that case, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to face the truth, and I'm not afraid to tell the truth. And, um, in life, I learned to be bold because I left home very early, and it became a survival issue after that. So um, I could handle most situations,
Most situations.
most situations. And I raised my daughter on the issue that don't tell lies, be humble, and be truthful, and you will be fearless in life. It's only when you're not truthful and when you're not humble, then this mask comes on. Then this greed comes on also, because and greed is a terrible thing. It comes in different forms. It comes for acquiring money. It comes for I want to show you I'm bigger than you. So greed has a lot of consequences, and your humility and your truth and the sincerity should be bold. You should be bold. Let somebody else think, nay, he's pretending. He's as though he saw
Correct.
something. It doesn't matter. Why should it matter? It's um, you can think what you want to think.
Friends, one important thing, अब आप देखिए कि इस जर्नी में ऐसा नहीं था कि रेडीमेड सॉल्यूशंस अवेलेबल थे। उन्होंने कहा भाई मैं प्रॉब्लम में आ गया हूँ, मैं ये कर लेता हूँ, ये रेडीमेड सॉल्यूशन है। ही वेंट थ्रू अ जर्नी। आप सोचिए कि किसी को आपने हर्ट किया और आप इस लेवल तक आए कि मुझे लग रहा है मैंने किसी को हर्ट कर दिया, वो पर्सन इंजर्ड है तो मैं भी इक्वली इंजर्ड हूँ, लेट मी सेंड अ सॉरी लेटर। इट मे नॉट कम इजी टू एवरीवन, इट नीड नॉट कम इजी टू एवरीवन, बट अगर आप में से किसी को फील हो रहा है ये, तो करने में कोई बुराई नहीं है, क्योंकि हम एक इंसान के साथ बैठे हैं जिसने ये किया है और वो बहुत उसके बाद सक्सेसफुल हो गए कि भाई मेरा ग्रीफ हट गया उससे। So that's one part of it. Secondly, going for any practice, आप मेडिटेशन करिए, आप थेरेपी लीजिए, आप काउंसलर के पास जाइए, वो आपको हेल्प ही करेगा। लाइक ही सेड कि आपको कोई जज नहीं करेगा। कई दफे हम किसी से बात करने से इसलिए डरते हैं कि वो हमारे बारे में क्या सोच लेंगे, हमें ऐसा तो नहीं कहेंगे। सो वी आर सिटिंग विद अ पर्सन हु इज सेइंग क्या फर्क पड़ता है भाई, तुम्हें अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम है आप किसी और से बात नहीं कर सकते, आप बाहर चले जाइए, आप बात करिए और उसका सोल्यूशन लेकर आइए, जिससे कि आप एक मीनिंगफुल लाइफ जी सके। तो ये हम सबके लिए एक इंस्पिरेशन होनी चाहिए कि हमें अपने तक कोई चीज रख के दर्द में बहुत लंबा समय नहीं गुजारना है। खुद से आ जाए बहुत अच्छा है, नहीं आ रहा, स्पीक टू समवन एंड बी एज ऑथेंटिक एज पॉसिबल। कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि हमें क्या बीमारी हो गई है, हम किस स्टेज से गुजर रहे हैं। ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आप हर किसी को जाके बताएं, जैसे सोसाइटी के कुछ रूल्स होते हैं, लेकिन ये भी जरूरी नहीं है कि आप उसी के साथ जिंदा रहें। बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है वो दौर। तो आप निकालिए अपने लिए समय और वो सब कर डालिए जिससे कि आप इस प्रॉब्लम से बाहर आ सके। सर, initial difficulties when you decided to do this, when you got this thought that I have to give water to people in such an organized way, all easy?
One, I like challenges. Challenges keeps me going, and initially, all the way I expanded, which has taken me all these years, also, and it was quick. I was very capable because of my engineering background to multiply the matkas, because you have to build a stand, you have to make it secure. There's a lota there. Sometimes they steal the lotas, but we made all that thing. These kind of this whole both the vans have been completely built in this house, because when I started the matka, I didn't know where I was going to get the water from. So there was this Sardarji, and I was telling him, in fact, it was the Sardarji who gave me the idea of matkas. And this same Sardarji, I went to him, I said, where am I going to get water if I put? So he said, Alag, just put it. The water will come. Don't worry about it. And I put it. Then one of my neighbors was passing by, and he said, Mr. Natarajan, you're doing a great job. So I said, sir, I have a difficulty. So he said, what's the difficulty? So I have no water. So he said, come and take it from my house. Just the gentleman parallel to this. And even now I go, I mean, it's borewell water, but luckily he has that sweet borewell water. So I go to him and he got it. And gradually from there, I got other sources of, people trying to supply me with water. So somewhere you'll get a break. You go to 10 people, 9 people will reject you, but one person will say, ho sakta. And other people used to think that this guy is doing it, there's some ulterior motive. Yeah, they all said, because when they used to ask me, so sometimes they think this is a good thing and the government is supporting him, so if we also do it, we can make money out of it and all. So that didn't even hurt me. I used to come and tell my wife, today I met this guy and this is the way they talk. Sometimes they talk quite, they say things which can be very hurtful.
For example, sir?
नहीं ये चोर है या ये this is not
Not
charity
pure
what is
charity.
this is not charity what he's doing or sharing what he's doing. This is इसमें कोई है इसमें, because we Indians, because we're all so corrupt, we always have to think there is a motive. There are very few people.
So you are saying you keep doing what you have to do, irrespective of this shouldn't, nothing should bother
No.
you.
See, when I engaged in it, I decided that I've become very minimalistic in my life. Okay, very minimalistic. So, so money was never an issue, because I always maintained that when the point comes when I can't afford it anymore, I'll stop at that point.
Beautiful point,
Yeah.
sir. Look at this. कुछ उनके पास था, इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड था, खुद कुछ बिल्ड कर लिया, फिर स्टार्ट कर दिया। अब जो चैलेंजेस आए, उन्होंने पहली लाइन में बोला, आई नेवर गॉट बॉदर्ड बाय दिस। तो अगर आप लोगों में से भी कोई कुछ करना चाहेगा, अलग अलग तरीके के प्रॉब्लम आ सकते हैं, कुछ भी आ सकते हैं, लेकिन उस वक्त आपको सोच के चलना है कि आप उसको हैंडल कर लोगे, रुकना नहीं है। तो अब देखिए, एक इंसान ने ऐसी सर्विस शुरू की जिससे कितनों का फायदा हो रहा है। कोई पानी ही पी रहा है, गरीब इंसान पी रहा है, उस इंसान को भी सोसाइटी चोर बोल रही है। सोचिए कितनी दर्दनाक बात है। लेकिन कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा. He's still doing a great job.
See, just to interrupt you at that moment, this is the power of humility, fear, trustworthiness, simplicity. This is the power of it. When you have this humility, especially, you follow me, and think they're very powerful components, very powerful emotions, you know. But if you have greed in your mind, okay, people will donate more money for me, and then I can use that money to buy another car or whatever, you know. But
Sir, here is the next question about this. Many people think that when they give anything for free, it is not valued. Like मटके चोरी हो जाएंगे, तोड़ देगा कोई उसको, या जब भी आप कोई चीज, anything you give for free is not valued. You have given lot of things for free. You also experience this? This is a block for many, that if I give something for free, it will not be valued.
if suppose I give you a matka tomorrow, okay, I wash my hands of it. What you do with it, why you do it, why you did it, it's not my concern. I wash my hands of it. You know, sometimes alcoholics come. The other day, 8 matkas they broke. 8 matkas, they broke all of them. See, for alcoholic, they need water, and there's a bench also next to my matka stand. So they sit down. Then they get into a fight. This is my assumption. Okay, they get into a fight. Then they break the matkas. If you see how alcoholics work, they're very violent. You know, once the alcohol is consumed, you know, you become very violent. Now, having said all that, I've been through alcoholism. I have been through drugs. I've been through all that, but I came out of it because in the end, you realize it's just trying to survive. Sometimes intoxication helps you survive.
Sir, but you've said it very simply, that once you have done it, you forget about it, and then you redo it. So all those 8 matkas which were smashed, you put new matkas there.
Yeah.
फ्रेंड्स, देखिए इस बात को, कई दफे हम अपने लॉस को बहुत सीरियसली ले लेते हैं कि अरे हमने किया, देखो अगले ने वैल्यू नहीं किया, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है, वो करे नहीं करे वो उनका प्रॉब्लम है, आप अपना काम करिए, और वो चलता रहेगा. जितने सिंपली सर ने बोला है, कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ा उन्हें कि अरे यहाँ पे मैंने मटका लगाया, सब तोड़ दिया, तो अब मैं छोड़ दो, इस एरिया को नहीं कवर करता. बिकॉज वो जिन्होंने नुकसान किया उससे ज्यादा वहां लोग हैं जिनसे उसको फायदा हो रहा है. तो हमें थोड़ा अपना फोकस इस बात पे शिफ्ट करना पड़ेगा. सो पीपल हु हैव दिस ब्लॉक कि भाई फ्री में कुछ देने से फायदा नहीं होता, आप अपना काम करिए, अगर आप कर सकते हैं तो we'll have a better society. So you have been on the street of Delhi for long. You meet lot of poor people, needy people. And if there are good people in our society who want to do good for them, what all can they do? What all can be given to people?
You can give clothes. You can give. I give tiffin carriers. I have tiffin carriers. Three compartment tiffin carriers. I give them.
To whom do you give?
Like anybody. Even going on the cycle or somebody, when I see a man, then I look. If he says hello to me, he's had it, because that means I can communicate with him. So then I tell him, "What's in your bag?" You can't go to a stranger and say, "What's in your bag?" He tell me to get lost. So then I open his bag. Tera khana kahan hai? Then he shows me. Then the khana is in a plastic bag. You know, the food is in a plastic bag. Bread is in a plastic bag, and maybe he has one small plastic container. You know, for the whatever the dal or whatever.
Yeah.
So I give him I said, "Here's it.
How
Take care."
thoughtful.
Yeah. So I interrogate, because these people are also clever. You know, they can lie also, because they want it, or they've taken it once already, they want it the second time. So the question you asked is, you know, how do you deal with deception? All these things are there, but man is full of temptation. No, I mean, he's not going to take it and sell it. He just wants another one. It's coming free, so he try to get another one.
So friends, कितना thoughtful है कि कोई इंसान साइकिल पे जा रहा है तो ये देखना कि ये हो सकता है कि कोई खाना प्लास्टिक के बैग में ले जा रहा हो, इसके पास टिफिन ना हो, तो तो उसको दे देना। कोई एक्स्ट्रा ब्रेन की जरूरत नहीं है, हम देखते हैं, हम सोचते भी नहीं है। तो ये उन सब लोगों के लिए है कि जो लोग कुछ करना चाहते हैं, थोड़ा सा और माइन्यूटली देख लिया, आपके अगल बगल में ही ऐसे लोग होंगे जिनको आपके इस आइडिया की जरूरत होगी और उनकी लाइफ बेटर हो सकती है। एक और चीज उन्होंने बोला कि कई दफे लोग जो है वो दोबारा भी आ जाते हैं, तो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि हर कोई इंसान बहुत अच्छा बन के एक बार लेके और सब स्टोरी खत्म कर दे। कुछ नीडी ज्यादा भी हो सकते हैं, बट व्हाट ही इज सेइंग इज कि आपके पास करेज होना चाहिए कि आप जब तक कर सकें आप करते रहिए, और फिर जब नहीं होगा तो आप रोक दीजिए। तो जो लोग इस ब्लॉग के साथ चल रहे हैं कि यार पता नहीं हम एक बार शुरू करेंगे, आगे होगा कि नहीं होगा, जब तक होगा तब तक आप करिए। एक और इंटरेस्टिंग व्यू पॉइंट उनका है कि जब हम किसी को कुछ दे देते हैं, वो इतना मैटर नहीं करता जितना कि आप खुद जब खड़े होके आप किसी को कुछ देते हैं, तो उसका एक डिफरेंट हैप्पीनेस लेवल होता है। तो जो लोग भी कुछ करना चाह रहे हैं वो आप ये पॉइंट्स ले सकते हैं।
There's in giving, there should be no what's the word? You should say, what, do you get happiness? Do you get this? There is nothing. You are giving. That is it. It is, you're a human being. I put matkas outside because how can these people work in this heat without water? If you go and stand outside, you will see they bring these big bottles and fill the bottles up and go. Because
Correct.
sometimes they're working on the second floor or third floor of the building. They'll have to keep coming frequently. So they take a big bottle of, yeah. So, I don't know in what context, but I'm going to give you something, big example, which even my wife also thinks is an example I should give in any of my thing. Some time ago, I opened a newsstand, matka station, and normally I try to find a tree.
Okay.
Because tree gives you also that shade.
Yeah.
Other if you go into the sun, anyway. I put the matkas around, then I put my telephone number. I nailed the telephone number to the tree, and then I came home. Then at about 8 o'clock or 8:30, I had this young boy who called me. I say young because he sounded young. He didn't sound. So he called me up and he said, "Uncle, what you're doing is a great job, but I have a problem with it." So I said, "What's your problem?" He said, "You have nailed your telephone number to the tree." He said, "That tree is in pain." Look at a young boy making that statement. And from that day, I stopped doing it because the easiest way is to put a string and tie the string. But I was, I was lazy, so I nailed it, and got away quickly. And so, everybody teaches you, and always keep greed away. Greed is a very, very dangerous emotion. I don't know what to call it. A very dangerous emotion because it eats you up. From greed comes jealousy. See, so many offsprings from that. But if you're humble and truthful, nothing can think. You become fearless.
Sir, in Hindi we say, तुम रोज रोज सोहन हलवा भी नहीं खा सकते, which means that if there is some dish which is absolutely wonderful and the person has got a tremendous liking for it, but even that cannot be eaten every day because one gets bored. The kind of work you are doing for ages, it's not easy. What keeps you going?
See, I learn a lot from this exercise. I learn from the poor people, a lot. And what keeps me going is probably my determination um, and I suppose my fearlessness. My wife says, "Listen, you're 77 and you're carrying on with this." So I said, "I'm 77 and quite healthy. So I will carry on till there comes a time when my health won't allow me."
So you don't get bored or you don't get tired, you don't get...
I get tired, of course. When I do this for 4 o'clock shift in the morning, I come at about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. You'll find me sleeping. At 77, you don't have you don't have that energy. You follow me? Then after that, to go and play football or whatever, you don't have that energy. So, but I come back to this core, which is my driving force: humility, trust, simplicity. It's not easy to do the matka business. Okay, matkas are very difficult to do. You have to make the stand, you have to put the pot, you have to put a lid, you have to put a lota, and then you have to clean it every now and then. It's quite heavy. You have to have a man to do it. And because I'm hands-on, it's easy. If you're not hands-on and you're trying to delegate, suppose you want to do it and you're sitting in your office, with your Mercedes Benz parked outside, and you're giving orders. You follow me? Oh, matka does this, and it doesn't work.
Sir, you have not used the cliche word. It gives me a lot of happiness and satisfaction. So, what does it give you?
It gives me the opportunity to learn to be humble, and to learn to be truthful and trustworthy and all that. It gives me the courage to build up all these things. Um, I suppose you could say that is happiness also. You can, if you want to interpret it in another way, but I don't go there for happiness. I go there because it is human beings. Morally, he has to do it. How long can you just keep taking the air, and how long can you keep drinking the water and all that? So, if you have this, you have strength. First, you must have that strength. You say courage and all that. All that comes from this.
So friends, कई बार हमको लगता है तो उससे हमें बहुत हैप्पीनेस मिल जाएगा, बहुत सेटिस्फैक्शन मिल जाएगा, मिल सकता है, मिलेगा, लेकिन उससे भी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट लाइन जो सर ने यूज़ की है वो खुद के लिए यूज़ की है. उन्होंने बोला, मैं सीखता हूँ हर इंसान से. जैसे उस बच्चे ने उन्हें बताया कि उस बोर्ड को आपको कील के साथ पेड़ पे ठोकना नहीं चाहिए था, पेड़ दर्द में है. अब उन्होंने जानबूझ के तो ये किया नहीं होगा, लेकिन इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ गिविंग ही लर्नड समथिंग एंड ही शेयर्ड दैट ऑल्सो. तो कई दफे जो डिफिकल्टीज आएंगे इसमें ऐसा कोई भी काम करने में, वो आपको ही बेटर इंसान बना सकते हैं. तो हैप्पीनेस, सेटिस्फैक्शन, ये एक बाय प्रोडक्ट हो सकता है. उससे बहुत बड़ी चीजें भी आपको मिल सकती हैं जो which can make you a better human being and make the planet better. So to conclude this, there are many people who are genuinely nice. They want to do something, but for whatever reasons, they are not coming out. You have been a very successful person in giving so much to the society. Please tell those people what are the necessary qualities they should have before plunging into anything like this.
If you really want to do it, just do it. If I keep repeating myself, when you want to do something, you have to be fearless. How do you become fearless? Because you become fearless because what the exercise you're trying to do is an honest exercise and a sincere exercise. And don't go to those poor people with some deception in your mind. If I do this, and then I'll tell my friend, today I went to the building site in number 4, all that, and get a little bit of a lift. Most people do that.
Okay.
All these affluent charities do that. And as I said earlier on, this Bollywood star, he can do something in front of his house. If he does it, I guarantee you, this whole block will do it. You need, if MatkaMan gets that kind of a platform, then if he does something, you follow me, there'll be a lot of followers. I don't have that volume of followers. He's got almost the whole world as his followers.
So you're saying that do not look at any other thing which can bring that ego thing high. Just give it and forget it.
Yeah.
So friends, ये याद रखना पड़ेगा कि एक तो फियरलेस होना है, क्योंकि जजमेंट्स आएंगे, प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगे, तो उस वक्त जो एक ही चीज हेल्प कर सकती है वो है करेज. और दूसरा है कि आपको एक बहुत बड़े स्केल पे कुछ सोचना नहीं है, आप करिए, वो बड़ा स्केल अपने आप बनता चला जाएगा. So, sir, your favorite 3 words which you want everyone to have, which you have, one is humility, one is honesty, whatever 3 words you can just look there and say.
Um, for me, I kept repeating myself. I think one, to be fearless, you have to be honest, you have to be humble. You cannot go and stand in front of these poor people and in a hierarchical way. You know, I'm giving you this. So you have to learn humility, and that takes time. So, but if you don't have it and you start engaging with the poor people, that will automatically come.
So, friends, thankfully, we have his wife also today with us, Mrs. Seeta Natarajan, जिनके बिना ये मूवमेंट ही पॉसिबल नहीं हो पाता. तो उन्होंने इस मूवमेंट को यहाँ तक पहुंचाने के लिए अपनी एक जर्नी तय की होगी. तो हम उनसे भी सीखते हैं कि हाउ इट हैज बीन फॉर हर. So, ma'am, the first question to you is that whenever anybody in the family does something which is different, people label that person. अरे वो तो थोड़ा मेंटली अनवेल लगते हैं, या कोई भी ऐसा वर्ड जो डेरोगेटरी हो सकता है. तो आपने उस वक्त क्या ऐसा कुछ सुना और आपने उसको ओवरकम किया या रेजिस्ट किया? आपने उन्हें बोला कि अरे छोड़ दो, ये सब मत करो? Was there a stage?
Actually, to be honest, initially मैं सोचती थी ये क्या कर रहे हैं, forget anyone else, because he did some things which were, he is very different. वो कुछ सब कुछ अलग अलग टाइप करते हैं. आई मीन मैं कैसे बताऊँ, तो मैं सोचती थी ये कितना क्या कर रहे हैं. स्लोली मैंने अपने आप देखा कि जो इतना यूज़फुल हो रहा है, पीपल आर अप्रिशिएटिंग. I think very few people actually came and said, you know, is he crazy or what? No. But I used to feel, कि what is he doing? How far is he going to go? But वो अपने आप वो mindset change हो गया when I saw कि it's something which is really sort of needed and things. So it's taken a few years for me to come to that thing of supporting him fully. In the beginning, I used to feel a bit, what is he doing? I have to admit, yeah.
Okay. So what was your fear that कि पैसा खत्म हो जाएगा या इनकी हेल्थ खराब हो जाएगी? What was your fear?
Not about yeah, also पैसा, पानी कहाँ से आएगा? What will the neighbors say? Because neighbors don't like people coming around all the time, you know, lesser people, or I don't know, as you are called, poor people. They feel कि वहाँ यहाँ पर को, they always think they might be thieves and they'll, you know, and they'll spoil the look of the colony. All these thoughts I know came to people, definitely, 100%. I mean, people still think when, sometimes I think when he gives food, they don't like it कि ये सब line में खड़े हैं, ये poor people, it's kind of, they don't like it, for sure, even now. But he just does it, it's okay.
And how do you handle that? You feel it's okay now?
Yeah, I feel it's okay. I think that it's something good if you're doing, and but I think you have to have some limits. You can't, you know, at the expense of irritating or, you know, hurting someone like the other people, the neighbors who are not liking. I think you have to find a common ground so that you find a fine line where everyone is happy with it. कि ठीक है चलो ये अच्छा कर रहे हैं. So I think he's found that, because, you know, if he's doing food, he tries to keep that area clean, this not dirty it, leave it nicely. So he has to make an effort. Otherwise, it's not right to upset one side and to be doing good this side. I don't think so. I think you have to keep everyone in your you know, path of trying to do good. You can't feel, oh, to hell with it, I'll do as I like. I don't think that's right. So, but he manages that, I think. Sometimes I give him background lecture when he comes. I said, I don't think that was right. Don't do that again and things. Then he listens. But sometimes he doesn't listen. But ज़्यादातर now he listens to me, because you know, I say from the background, you know, not, I'm not in the front, but I can see it from another point of view, what other people might be thinking, which he's not, because he's just so involved कि मेरे को बस देना है, मेरे को बस ये करना है, I don't care किसको अच्छा लगे या नहीं. He gets so carried away, whereas I see it from the back कि ठीक है, you want to give, but you have to keep yourself in check कि you don't upset people in your process. So I try to keep him in that check.
सो मैम, जब इनिशियली सर ने ये करना शुरू किया, तो क्या आप दोनों की लड़ाइयाँ होती थी इस बात पे कि नहीं आप नहीं करोगे इसे और आपकी हेल्थ खराब हो जाएगी, हम हमें इसमें नहीं पड़ना?
बहुत ज़बरदस्त लड़ाई, बहुत ज़बरदस्त, बिकॉज sometimes क्योंकि actually he's so different type of person, like he's also told you कि I just go and do it and all, that's true, but sometimes it used to be so um, sort of something I couldn't, I couldn't take it sometimes, I don't know what examples to give, like he'd anyway, whatever. So we did have fights and all that, but slowly he's also adjusted to he understands what I'm saying, he's adjusted to my requirements or to what I'm explaining to him, because I'm looking at from another point of view. I'm not looking at it ki just do what you like, it's okay, you're doing good, it's fine. I don't think you can just say I'm doing good, I'm doing charity or sharing or whatever, so it's great, doesn't matter what I do, who I hurt on the way, that's not right. I don't think so. I think you have to take everything into consideration, so and then carry on. So we did have a lot of fights, but we've come to a good path where we understand each other and he listens to me, I listen to him, so it works out in the end, I think.
So ma'am, there would be many people who would get influenced by their वाइव्स, हस्बैंड्स, पार्टनर्स, बच्चे, कोई कुछ करना चाहता है तो सबसे पहले रेजिस्टेंस, जैसे आपने बड़े ऑनेस्टली एडमिट किया कि आप ही को लगा, ऐसे फैमिली में भी लोग होंगे, उनको लगेगा कि अरे ये करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट मे बी दैट पर्सन फील्स दैट दिस विल मेक लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस। सो आप उन लोगों को कोई एडवाइस दे सकते हैं, बिकॉज आपने तो एक काफी अच्छी जर्नी स्पेंड की है इसमें, तो व्हाट वुड यू हैव टू टेल पीपल हु ओपोज देयर ओन people in the home?
So the thing is, I think it's all right to oppose, because you're living together, you're sharing the same place, and he's your husband or whatever. You don't want to hear bad things about him, necessarily. So I think it's okay to oppose but I know it's sometimes difficult to have discussions. It becomes into a fight and all that. But I think finally, like in all matters between husband and wife, you come to an understanding, and you have to do that, because you have to, in some way, you do have to support each other. Whatever work I'm doing, what work he is doing. So if we can come to that understanding to find something that keeps both happy, is not too much, then it works. It actually does work at the end. Like if you have arguments even on other issues with your husband or wife, then finally you do come to an understanding. That's the only way. Otherwise, it just won't work.
So during this whole thing, anything changed in you as a person? What did you like the most about it, that you're still staying, getting along with the whole thing?
I think it's changed me totally, because in the beginning I was not thinking of others. I was not so giving. I was not. I wouldn't. I used to I look at these people and say, "Oh, these people." You know how one feels. I was like that, definitely, right in the beginning. Maybe not doing anything negative, but maybe not showing it. But I was, and now I'm totally different, because I also am always feeling for these people, sorry, I have to say, and I feel that the more you can do, whatever you do in even little bit, I have to say this, it gives me satisfaction. He says it doesn't give him happiness, but I do. I feel very nice when they smile at you and say thank you for every little thing you do. So I think it's worth it, and it makes you feel good. It does give you satisfaction. So I think it's nice to do whatever you can. Yeah.
So sir, she very honestly admitted that there were a lot of fights. At any point of time you felt that I'll leave her, or she felt that to make my life better I'll leave him? How is it that it has become so smooth now? That was a typical husband expression.
Maybe my determination can be overpowering. As she said earlier, maybe in the previous video also, that if he sets his mind on something, he'll have to do it. And this is not a recent condition of mine. From childhood, I've been like that. So if I'm determined, then
determination. Madam.
No, I think sometimes I felt, oh God, I can't take this anymore. What am I going to do? How is it? But I think we come from that old school where you just have to stick it out. I mean, you have to manage. Like, aajkal to at the drop of a hat, children are ready to leave. The D word comes up and they just do it. But I think in our case, or at least in my case, I felt it's not something I can do, because we come from that stage where you sacrifice, or you do and you understand and you manage. And most of the time, I have to say this, that it was me who said, okay, fine. Normally it's always the wife who kind of gives in, and I did give in a lot, and I know I do give in a lot, but it's okay. It's not, I'm getting, otherwise things he does for me also, so it's a two-way trap.
So you're saying in the process you got benefited?
Yeah, exactly. Though I normally I agree to what he's saying, unless it's really too bad. But otherwise, I think I also benefit, because he also looks after me. I mean, he's a provider normally. You have to sort of, I think you have to find the middle path. And I think our age group, our generation is like that. We don't easily want to just leave, neither one. So that's how it works, I think. Yeah.
So friends, we met two very honest, very humble people. और जो लर्निंग हमारी है उसमें ये है कि अगर आप डिटरमाइंड होंगे तो आप वो काम कर पाएंगे. आपके आसपास से पीपल हु मैटर टू अस अ लॉट, हमारी फैमिली या कहीं से भी ऑपोजिशन आ सकता है, लेकिन आपको अपनी डिटर्मिनेशन क्लियर रखनी है और वो एनर्जी आपके साथ अलाइन हो ही जाएगी और सबका भला हो जाएगा. और आप चाहे कितने भी मुश्किल दौर से क्यों ना गुजर रहे हो, आप उससे निकल ही आएंगे. और दूसरी जो बहुत ही जरूरी बात है कि अपने लिए ही जिए तो क्या ही जी लिए. सब लोगों को अगर आप जो कुछ भी है अपनी तरफ से दे सकें तो ये एक बहुत ब्यूटीफुल जर्नी आपकी खुद की भी बन सकती है और हमारी सोसाइटी, हमारी कंट्री की भी बन सकती है. थैंक यू सो मच सर. थैंक यू सो मच मैम. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर टाइम.
I just want to say thank you for interviewing me and also giving me so much of time on the camera.
So friends, till we meet again, talk it out, sort it out.